Hello, hello, hello. Hello, guys. Happy Thursday. What is this? Tuesday went 3 nights in a row live with you guys. Hello. Let's make sure everything is working. Hello, Angie and Kay and Janet and Sue Potts and Rebecca and Beverly and Monty, Letitia, Sharon. So I just saw many of you guys on my membership group. We just got done with the lesson. Started at 7, finished about 8:45. Had time to freshen up a little bit. And then get here to see you guys. Hello, Tina. So make sure to like, comment, share so that you guys are entered into the giveaways. Hello again, Kathy. Hi, Chris. Oh my goodness. So if you have missed the last couple of nights, let me just remind you, on Tuesday evening, we did this. Now what is it? The size of the file is very small, so it might be a little blurry. But we did the iris, and you can watch that on Tuesdays live on my YouTube channel. So if you don't follow my YouTube channel, you know Facebook's doing away with the lives after 30 days. My videos will always be on YouTube that we have streamed. So make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and hit that bell notification so that you know when I'm going to go live. And then last night we did her. And I took Ronnie Mark's suggestion and I named her Miss Mari Pusa. Mariposa. Anyway, but I loved the way she turned out. So we've had many people join, which was amazing. If you have not requested to join the group yet, the private Facebook group, please do so. Let me know. And we'll talk a little bit about my membership group tonight and then get started into painting. I thought just a quick little seascape or something. You guys had mentioned something along those lines yesterday. So let me go ahead and just introduce myself. If this is your first time, I'm Sandy McTeer. Welcome into my studio. I am smack dab in the middle of Georgia, and my membership group, which I love and adore everyone in there. Everyone that has come in and, you know, sometimes sadly had to leave, but have just, you know, what's the word? It's the best thing I've done since the pandemic. Let me just say that. And I started it during the pandemic because I wanted a way to connect, to create, and, you know, just be with like-minded people, a creative community. So that's what I like to call my membership group. You know, it's the Adventures of Art with Sandy McTeer. It started out as the Adventures of Art and Art Journaling. And the reason being is because we pretty much create, or I create the lessons other than our Zoom classes in an art journal, so that people don't have to go out and find 100 different surfaces, yada, yada, yada. You can always take a piece of paper and mount it to a piece of wood or a canvas. You can resin over it. So there are a lot of possibilities. The other thing is not all of those designs have to be on paper. Take it to paper mache, to canvas, to wood, whatever. So my thing is not project-based as much as it is highly into technique and learning-based. Okay, so what you're painting on, I could care less. But the technique and the lesson and what we're painting and the design and all that is really the key. So, well, we had such an awesome lesson in the member group. Yes, right? And yeah, I see it's kind of stuttering a little bit there. Had to go out and come back in, yes. So it is, It is Thursday night, 9 o'clock. Everyone's online, so there might be a little bit more buffering than usual. Yeah, I'm sure you guys are used to that when you're watching things. So also to remind you guys, like, comment, share, invite your friends to come over and watch. We've got more people on YouTube than Facebook right now, which is kind of funny because usually it's Facebook that is double or triple the number. But I also wasn't exactly sure when I was going to be able to come on tonight because my priority is my membership group. And we had a lesson starting at 7 and we finished and we did our color twist lesson with succulents. So love the way those came out. I shared this last year. This is similar to something I shared last year when I opened my doors. Hi, Sharon. Yes, nice to see you again. Hi, Sherry-Ann. So right now, the majority of the people on are in my membership group. So anyway, had a great time doing that lesson with them and being back with you guys tonight. So my tongue and my brain are a little tired. So, oh my goodness. Alrighty, guys. So it's 9:06. We're going to give just a couple of minutes and we'll get started. Like I said, if you missed our lesson for last night, we did this beauty right here. And I shared, if you were a member in my membership group, I shared the line drawing with you and a color picture of this so that you guys can go back and paint that. Hello, Ronnie Marks. So again, you guys be sure to like, comment, share that we're live. Get a few more people in here. It is 9:07. We're going to start in a couple of minutes. If you're new here, let me know where you're viewing from and how you found me. So, or I should say, how you know me. So I know there are many people in my membership group that I have not met in person, but I feel like I know them so well. So, and then there are some on you like Bonnie Duncan, who I love. Hello, Teresa. Bonnie from Oklahoma, who always is so sweet. Hello, Janet Mills, who always comes by and sees me as well at OKC. So, all right, well, we're picking up on the numbers. That's good because I want to get started. I want to hi, Pat Baxter. Good to see you on. Chris Avola, Kathy Pruitt, Tina. Good to see you all on again. So anyway, the response has been great for my membership opening. Again, those that are in my group or that, hi, Mom. Thanks for being here. Probably get tired of me saying it. However, I will say that I've had people after I close my membership doors are like, I didn't even know you had a membership group. So I am live every day this week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, for my typical Sundays in the studio with Sandy. I'll be here live. The doors to my membership group close Sunday evening at midnight. Okay, so technically Monday morning at midnight. I've seen you before too, Anne. Maybe you can share your OKC projects. Well, I did that in a separate video, and I can do that maybe a little bit later in the week. Not tonight, since it is 9 something, and I have been on live since 6:45. Hi, Connie. Oh, thank you, Tina. I've got the best mom. I really do. She's just amazing. So awesome. Welcome, new members. Thank you. Yes, long time no see, Linda. 15 minutes ago. One of my friends from Florida recommended me to your page. Well, Mona K over on YouTube. Thanks for being here. I'm seriously thinking about joining. Well, I seriously hope you do, Sherry Ann. We have a ton of fun. So just to remind you guys, let me see where I have it. Not to overwhelm you, because it's a lot of content. I started this in 2020 when the pandemic hit, and I had 23 trips in the year of 2020, and I took 3. And I needed to figure out how I was going to connect and paint because my passion is teaching and sharing what I love and what I know, what I've taught myself, what I've learned over the years on my artistic journey. So there are 300 recorded lessons. And then I paint live 3 to 4 times monthly with my membership group. All of that content is available as soon as you join, whether you join monthly or yearly. The only thing you need to do to keep that content is to become and stay a member, okay? So I also do quarterly Zoom classes. So we do free quarterly Zoom classes that are anywhere from 4 to 6 hours. And we have painted on everything from, oh my goodness, we've done landscapes and shoes and fabric. We've done tote bags. We have done a lot of collage, mixed media, you name it, pretty much we've done it, all right? So the last couple of nights, the lessons we've done on Tuesday, the iris, and then someone messaged me today, my sweet friend, Debbie Dean, said, I don't think you've ever shared one of your girls with us. And I said, no, I pretty much have shared that with my membership group. Or if I have a convention or a special thing like I did, I hit the wrong button. Like I did last year or the year before when I did my Bee Girl that I shared with you guys last night. So, hello Marlene. Hello Judy from Jacksonville, Florida. Let's see, what did she say? Hello Sandy's mama. Thank you for raising a beautiful daughter and sharing her with all of us. We love and adore her. Wow. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Aw, aprons, glass, yes, all the stuff. So I was lost during the pandemic. I made all of the masks that I could until it was time to stop. I floated, then I found Sandy. Best thing I could have found was to join, best thing I have done was to join Sandy's group. So much fun. Not only that, but then Chris Avola and Molly Ann and others in my group, but those two especially have been like my moderators, sharing links, putting things in when people can't find something. So it's just been awesome. It's been awesome, awesome. So as much for me, how we can bring up, they always say that I give them so much, they give me so much. They fill my cup runneth over with blessings of just friendship and community. And if I could sum up our group in one word, I would say community. We are a community of like-minded creatives that want to create. Fortunately, thankfully, they want to create the things that I've designed for them. The majority of designs that I do in the group, I only do for the group. So I have shared the last 2 nights, and I'll share more tomorrow when we have a little bit more time, the lessons that I have created specifically, exclusively for my group. Now, the thing is, if I take that outside the group, which I've done a couple times, and have shared them either in a seminar or on a live on Sundays in the studio, they get the e-packet for free. All right. They also get the best discount on my website. So unfortunately, you can't use that discount code. I think I put that on. Did I put that on? Yes. So if you're shopping on my website, you can use that discount code. You can't use it towards the membership. And I'll just say all of it goes through my platform, which is PayPal for PayPal subscriptions. They already get a chunk of change from me. So, all right, we are a family. Totally, totally agree. Come join us. We are a family. It's downright addictive. You guys are just as addictive to me as I am to y'all. So, hi, Deb. So Deb joined us last year, and so glad that she did, or this year. Did you join earlier this year or last year? I can't remember because I just adore you. And hello, Elk. Alrighty, guys, let's just go. Like I said, the brain and the mouth are not connecting. So I need to drink a little bit more of my water, which I've been very bad about doing today. let me just say, if you don't have one of these jugs that has the time on it, I did fill up mine. I was down to about 5, and then I filled it up a little bit more because I knew I was going to be thirsty, but I try and drink 64 ounces a day. TMI, these are a lot of things I share with my membership group. So I did want to share, last night I shared some of my girls with you guys. And then I think on Tuesday I shared some fold out pages. So one thing I love to do, hello Jenny, are fold out pages. So, oh, I also have Happy Mail from last night. You probably already saw that. Anyway, this is one of my favorites. So, and this is thankful, grateful, and blessed. And so I just wrote in each of those leaves what I'm thankful, grateful, and blessed with. But I love the fold out, and then I did that so that you could always paint the extra side. And then, let's see, what's this one? Oh, that's another fold out. In fact, I did this one, but then I also taught it at Creative Painting. The last year Creative Painting had a convention. So love that. And again, you can paint the pumpkins so that you've got the background. And then this was one of my absolute favorites. This is the one I painted with my group because I didn't fill everything out, but I loved where you could be able to write what you're grateful for. And so I started that. Number 1 is my tribe, my new friendships, continued support from my husband and my kids, being able to do what I love, being able to share what I love with others, my studio space, being able to connect with people all over the globe, my talent. I'm very grateful that I have tapped into my God-given talent because I don't know where it came from. Other than him, because you know, you can look at some of my earlier things and how I've grown, and it's a big contrast. My parents marrying into a family that I love and that they love me. Anyway, it just goes on and on and on, and I filled out my original one. So love those. Loved this page too. Hello, Mona. I have loved the classes that I've taken from you. I have loved being out in Jacksonville. I've been there 3 times painting with those ladies, and they're amazing. So this one I did, and I took an actual branch and laid it down. And then the lesson for my group was on water droplets. So same kind of thing I did with the, I put that on, and then I came back in with some Prussian blue and just went around the leaves. But those are actually leaves from some plant in my yard or tree. Okay, and then I know I shared this with you guys, I think on Tuesday night. This is probably my first fold out page and my favorite, because I think this would look amazing on a 10 by 20 canvas, any surface. But again, you can do the whole design out or let it fold and put it in your journal. Okay, so we have done some beachy things, and I thought tonight, just kind of being a little short on time with having just painted with my group since 7, I would do something a little beachy. All right, so I have drawn something out. We'll see where that's going to go. But first, let me announce Happy Mail giveaways for last night's live. Number 1, Happy Mail. And I have your information, my friend. So what I did at 6 o'clock tonight before my live lesson with my group is I took everyone's name that watched, commented, liked, and shared on yesterday's video, put it onto a wheel. The wheel spun, the names that came up, I wrote them down, and I get to send you a beautiful Happy Mail package full of really cool things. So make sure between now and tomorrow at 6 p.m. that you like, comment, share to be entered into the Happy Mail giveaways. All right? I have your information. So Sue, I will get that to you. Happy mail number 2 on the wheel was Ronnie Marks. Ronnie, I have your information as well because you just sent me beautiful happy mail. So I have an envelope with your mailing address. And then the third one that popped up was Mandy Graves. So Mandy Graves, a new name. So, wow, look at them raindrops, right? Yes, I loved painting that, and I still have paint on my thing from tonight. So what I did was I took a page out of my art journal, and I drew out a little scallop shell with a pearl in it. We'll see where this goes. Wow, I won. Yes, so Sue Potts is in Canada. I send happy mail all over the world, not just the US. Alrighty, so I've got to stand up here. So we have a page out of my journal that I put a wash of gesso on it. So when you're painting in an art journal, hello, Linda O'Connell. The paper is a mixed media paper, but I want to show you because I thought before we start, I could show you how this paint stays on one thing that's gesso and not, but I want to point these out. Get these off your paint. I know I share it all the time, but when I open one and it has that, you hear that snap? Now let me see if I have one that doesn't have. Well, that one has, okay, that's very dull. But if it's got a big amount of paint, I try and get them off when I see them. If it has a big amount of paint on it, it's not going to close and keep your paint dry. So make sure you get those off, all right, for me. And when you do, say, Sandy, Sandy told me I need to do this. Okay, so this is just a plain journal page. It does not have anything on it, gesso, matte medium, nothing. But what I want to show you is when I pick up this paint and I put it down, and then I rinse my brush and go get some water, I can't move it. It is there, all right? Because I can't move it around, I can't blend and float and all the other fun things. Hello, Linda. So this page has been gessoed, just one layer of gesso over it. I drew out my design. I did not go over it with gesso like I showed you guys last night, but I can. So let me just pick up a brush and we'll just pick up a little wash because you can draw your design out and then go over it with gesso and see how that just toned down the pen lines. My absolute favorite. I do carry this on my website. Like I mentioned the other day, I do not sell anything that I don't use or that I don't love. So fantastic product. Okay, so let's dry this little clamshell. Hi, Glenda. I was going to say, Mona, I thought I've sent you happy mail before. Yes. Stormy Michigan. Oh, gosh. It is 82 degrees here still at 9:25. And it's only going to go up from there, I think. All right, let's just move that out of the way so I don't get it on things. Okay, so that is dry. I'm going to get my palette. Again, I just thought a simple, quick, easy seascape. We'll see how easy it comes together. Let's say that. So I'm going to get some blue raspberry. This color came out, I think, in 2022. It was supposed to be a 2023 color, and they launched it early. But it's transparent, just like strawberry, which is beautiful. So we're going to get out a little bit of that because that'll look pretty in the sky. I love a cotton candy sky. How about you guys? You know, just the pinks and the blues and the purples. And we're going to get out some titanium white. this isn't going to be very detailed seascape, but you're going to have your sky, you're going to have your water. Let's put a little bit, do I want that? Nope, I don't want that. A little bit of dragon teal. Oop, see, there we go. Get that off. I even used that last night and I didn't take it off. I think we're going to start there. I do want a darker blue. So let me see. I might put a little Prussian blue for the horizon, and then also a little primary blue. Not a lot. I'm going to show you guys every time I have to do that. So that when you see it, you think of me. Also a little sour apple. 90s here. Woof. Just a little sour apple. We don't need much. Okay. So I'm going to take, let's get a 3/4 flat wash. We have a tornado watch in southern, oh my goodness, Bev, you be careful. Yes, love the sky when that happens, right? Yes, and that blue raspberry and strawberry, or any of these blues with that strawberry, are going to make a purple. All right, what I want to do first is just spritz my paper. Again, it has been gessoed. And then I will take my, aw, thank you, Mom. Aw, thank you. She sent stars. So when you send stars over on Facebook or hit that $sign over on YouTube, that money goes to the World Central Kitchen. And at the end of the year, I take all those and I just saw Ronnie's comment, and I'm not gonna comment on that. Anyway, I match it, and all of it goes to the World Central Kitchen, feeding hungry people around the world. So, do you remember years ago when they used to make jewelry with the paint boogers? Yes, and it's always grossed me out, to be honest with you. I knew a lady that kept a jar of them, and it's just like, ugh. Okay. First thing we want to do, so I have a 3/4 flat, and I'm going to pick up a little bit of that Prussian blue, and I just want to make a little bit of a horizon line. Okay, now it's easier to pull a line than it is to, like, top to bottom than it is left to right. So we will just start there, okay, with a little bit of a horizon line. You can always come in and put tape there if you wanted to get that horizon line straight. And if I were painting on canvas or something, I would, but this is just a very loose wing it seascape tonight. So yes, I can. Right, Sue? I know, they were kind of gross. Never get tired of you doing your back. Aww. Thank you, Georgia. Okay. So we've got that on there. I'm going to take a little bit of, I think I want a lighter blue. Let's look at, this is Provence Sky. And it's a prettier color when you say Provence. Provence Sky. We're just going to put a little bit, or a lot of it, out of that color. And I'm just going to take my brush and get it wet up here. And then a little bit of Provence Sky. Let's get that hair off there. Okay, so see, just very inky. And then I'll come in with that brush, has got water on it. I'm going to pick up some strawberry, but I'm going to tap it across my paper towel and just swipe that in. Now what you're going to get is you're going to get a little purple. Okay, now let me zoom in just a little bit. I didn't say I was a fan or that you own jewelry. Yeah, I just don't like that B word. So Alrighty. So I'm just going to soften that right down to about there. Okay. I got something, hello, in there. Okay, then I'm going to take my, let's see where it is, number 8 flat. And I dried it off on my paper towel, but I'm just going to take it through my index finger and middle finger or thumb and finger just to get it a little dry. It doesn't have to be bone dry, but I'm going to come in on the corner and just load the corner with a little bit of white. And then you know how I do, like when I float, it's just like a little small circular motion, or when I stencil. I just want to put a little bit of, you can't see that. You can't see that at all. So let's come into a little bit of that blue raspberry and a little bit of pink. Make this a little darker. We're going to come in with a little bit more blue raspberry. I remember the first time I was asked to paint a mural, and they wanted clouds. Well, I'm thinking, okay, clouds are white. No, clouds are not white. Clouds are anything but white. Your brightest light is white, but there are grays and blues and colors that are reflecting. Might have washed that out too much. To give it shape. So sometimes a little lavender or gray lavender. But I do want to make that a little bit darker. I'm going to dry it first so I don't keep lifting the color. That's a very big shell at the bottom, but again, I just wanted that to be the focal point, the thing we paint. Have the seascape come together quickly. I'll be using my palette knife too. Okay, so a little bit more water, maybe not as much. And I'm going to come in with that blue raspberry. Let it streak. You want it to streak. You want to see the white and blue and lighter pink. Okay. Then we're going to come right down here. I'm going to pick up some of the blue raspberry. And this one was, what was that one? Peacock teal. I also grabbed tropical blue. And what is this one? Oh, mermaid tail. Because green is always a great color to add into. I look like I'm a little out of focus. Huh. Let me know if it just got better, Kathy. Great. Great comment, Bonnie. Yes, absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to get a little water in my brush, and I have the peacock teal and blue raspberry. I kind of want to keep that dark horizon there. We're going to come right down to this shell. I do have on my YouTube channel as well a seascape lesson that I have done. Again, we just want to keep that horizon line as straight as possible. I think I will turn it this way. One way to do a seascape and not worry about the horizon line is to put a little island in there. Okay. The beach is my absolute happy place. I love the beach. I grew up, you were in focus to me. Okay, great. In Southern California until I was in 6th grade, and we lived at the beach. I mean, I am a beach baby through and through. So I want to just lighten that. Not sure where that came from, but we're just gonna lightly dry that. Again, number 8 on the corner with white. Swipe it across my paper towel, and I'm gonna do soft circular motions. And what I do at the height, you are now, it's clear. Okay, great. Thank you, Kathy. I did adjust it, so, okay. So I'm thinking about the top of my cloud, not the full shape of the cloud. I think that if you can think of what the top of the cloud looks like, it might help you painting clouds better. Because once you get that top, then it's just a matter of filling it in to be as full as you want it or as thin as you want it. So the thing is, again, using the colors as your shadow, those pinks, blues, whatever, just to get your basic shape of a cloud formation in there, okay? Soft circular motions. So we'll put some in here. And as these get a little bit closer to the horizon, they're going to be smaller. So it would just be like a little sliver of color. And I like to mush those out with my finger. So they're not so bright, because what's going to be the brightest are those things that are closest, or bigger cloud formations. So I think I will do one right here so that you can see. And then again, just soft circular motions. I skipped some space. Did you see that? I skipped some space so that you get those shadows in between. Okay. Oh, thank you. So over on Facebook, Chris did Seize the Day. She posted the link to a seascape that I have on my YouTube channel. Okay. Now, not all clouds have a very solid flat bottom, but some do. So I highly recommend tomorrow, guys, go outside and look at the clouds and squint your eyes, because I want you to be able to see that the white cloud, and hopefully you've got some blue sky for it to, have a little contrast. But look at the grays. So I love this. I remember I did a class. I did actually a certification, a landscape certification in painting, and they were like, "Oh, your clouds are so ethereal." Like English clouds, because it's like an English cottage. And so I was like, well, I lived in England for 6 years, so maybe I looked at the clouds a lot. So see that darker, brighter white there? It pushes the grayer white back and brings the whiter white forward. So in here, where it's a little bit more blue, I can build up and continue to build on that cloud, just soft circular motions with the corner of that brush. And then where I want to build up a brighter, I can do that with more color, more pigment, right? So now here, I'm just gonna do some very wispy, little tiny clouds that maybe are back here. Nope, not that big. All right. So I want to break up that pink and blue right here with some kind of a little cloud, or any harsh line I will go in and kind of cover up. So there we go. Never did a seascape. This is going to be awesome. Had to come over to Facebook. Aw. All right, so there is our... Hello, Mary. I'm a mountain girl myself. I like the mountains, but I do really love the beach. It is my, whew, if I could live on the beach, I would. My husband goes to the beach for me. I do have a family vacation beach trip this summer, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm spending time with my sisters and my parents. So this is Prussian blue, and what I'm doing is just kind of putting in some shadows first, and I'm zigzagging back and forth on the chisel edge of this 3/4 flat wash. I'm going to rinse that out, pick up a little bit of that blue raspberry, and then right into, while it's wet, I'm going to pick up some oyster beige. Okay, so some oyster beige for my, sand color, but I'm going to use a dirty brush because I might have some blue in there still, and that's okay. So we're going to go back and forth. And we won't leave it in thirds. I'll bring that water down onto the sand, but to initially get that in, all right, wipe off my brush, pick up a little bit of that blue raspberry, and I'm going to bring it onto the water, onto the sand, and then a little bit of pink I'm also going to bring onto the sand. Pull it down a little bit. Here we go. Okay. Hi, Bonnie. Aw, thank you, Teresa. Hi, Lorene. All right, so I'm going to switch brushes to a smaller brush that I can control a little bit more where the paint's going to go. I'm looking for my number 12 flat. Actually, it's a 1/2 inch, but it's very similar to a size 12 in a flat brush. I like the acrylic handles on those. All right, but I'm going to get it wet and pick up a little bit of that Provence sky that we put into the sky at first. And I'm just going to wash it over, which is going to help tone down a little bit of the Prussian blue. It's a wash, and a wash is more water than paint. I'm going to pick up a little bit of primary blue and do the same kind of zigzag motion because I don't want this color everywhere. I just want it here and there. And when you do this and you go back and forth, when you put on the white or the highlights, oh, it just hits. There was a bug. It just hits those colors and gives you a different look. So I love to do this technique where it's just kind of zigzagging back and forth, even down to here where the sand is. I'm going to, on my dirty brush, pick up a little bit of sand color. I don't even know if I want the shell, to be honest with you, but we'll see. We will see. Okay. So, thank you, Ronnie. Thanks, Tina. Alrighty, guys. So, now I'm going to pick up a little bit of that. I think this one was, they changed the name. It used to be, I don't remember, but it's Tropical Blue is the new name of it. It used to have a different name. No, that's not true. Indian Turquoise was the one, and that's a new name. But anyway, this is Tropical Blue. And I just want to put that in. Again, when you start to see the white on there, it's going to make a big difference. Rinsed out my brush, picked up a little bit of sour apple. So, you know, in the Bahamas, if you've ever been to the Bahamas or where they have just that turquoisey, beautiful ocean, you see a tint of green to it. So that sour apple is really going to add a lot to that. All right. Now I'm going to pick up white, titanium white, and just zigzag back and forth. Nothing too bright back here because, of course, it wouldn't be as bright back there. The closer it gets to you, the brighter it's going to be. And just zigzagging is going to give you the wave action without getting real specific or detailed. Again, this is a very loose seascape. I could get super detailed. I've done super detailed seascapes. In my membership group, which is why we're here this week, because the doors are open, Marco Aguilar did a water lesson in our group, which was amazing, and shared with us how to add in those little lines and things on a seascape. But hopefully you guys are seeing how easy this is and how quick it comes together. Thank you, Bonnie. Yes, Indian turquoise became turquoise. This one is turquoise blue, so it's a different color. But we're going to get that white right up to here. I'm going to pick up a little bit of the blue raspberry because, again, on the sand, you're going to have other colors showing up. It's not going to just be that tan. Okay. Rinse that out. Back to the white, and I'm going to swipe it across my paper towel. Loving this. I'll have to watch the beginning tomorrow. No worries. Thank you, Deb. Hi, Judy Thacker. Okay, so now I'm going to be a little bit more deliberate with the white. So I can get a little bit heavier to give me some water movement, maybe some waves. And then when we get closer to the sand, I want to show you one thing I love, love, love to do. So we're going to get a little bit of, not that, that's black. We want asphaltum, okay? Raw sienna makes a beautiful sand color as well, as does the oyster beige. So I'm going to get a little tiny touch of raw sienna. And then again, rinse that number 12 flat. And I just kind of pull it through my fingers to, if you've got a really good quality brush, if you've got a cheapo brush and you do that, sometimes the bristles come with you. So just be gentle and careful. So this one's really well made, and I just wanted to get all the excess water out. So I'm gonna come over here and pick up a little bit of that raw sienna. See it very, very little. Swipe it across my paper towel. And we're gonna get a little bit of that into our sand. Actually, a lot of that. And then I can just use my finger. Okay, and then some asphaltum. And I'm gonna pick up a little bit of water because I want this to blend nicely. Little raw sienna, a little bit of not burnt umber. Ooh, no, asphaltum. Okay, to get that sand. I'm gonna wipe it off, pick up a little bit of oyster beige. And I'm just lightly, very light touch going over it. Very, very, very light touch. Okay, I'm going to turn it over. Come in with my 3/8 angle. Take me to the beach, right? Oh, my absolute happy place. So during the summer months, my mom and dad would rent a cabana in Del Mar, California, and my dad would be at work, and my mom and the kids, my 2 sisters and I would go to the beach, sometimes with friends, and then my dad would get off work and come join us for a cookout, and it was just my childhood. I absolutely love the beach. We also would go to Ocean City because that's where my grandparents, very much close to where my grandparents live. Okay, so angle brush, titanium white on the toe, and I'm just kind of zigzagging back and forth. These little water that comes up onto, and then I'll pull back the float of color that I put on. And then when I turn that around, you'll be able to see, because you can always come back and accentuate those a little bit brighter, whiter. Okay, so get a little bit of that color from the water that's coming onto the sand. But what's going to make that stand out is a little bit of asphaltum on the toe of my angle brush. And I don't want to go along the whole thing. When you do that, it almost looks outlined. So let that little hump of water come over. I know, great memory. I have great memories of my childhood and the beach. Oh my gosh, it's just, I always thought I'd go back to California after moving to Tennessee because my dad's job, and I love California, but first off, it's very expensive. But there really is something magical about the West Coast and the Pacific Ocean. So, okay, so just a little bit more white. Okay, now I can do the same thing with that angle brush up here and kind of drop it down to get a little bit of more of a wave, if you will. I'm trying to think if we've done a seascape in the membership group. I don't know that we have. I could be wrong. I know that we've done some beachy things, but I don't know. Okay, now to make those stand out, what is the left corner of your palette? The left corner of my palette is blue raspberry. Okay, so what's going to make this stand out is if we add a little bit of Prussian blue on the toe of our angle brush. And you make that wave stand out a little bit more. Okay, so don't hesitate to swipe your finger. That's going to really take that color down so that it's not so harsh and carry it to other areas. So the other color is, let's see, where's my Payne's Gray, my go-to Payne's Gray, always. And I'll pick a little bit of that up and some Prussian blue just to make it a little bit darker. But those waves have to have some kind of a little shading underneath them, no matter how big or small they are. But one of my favorite things to do is I'm just going to wipe off that angle brush. We'll pick up a little bit of white, work it in, swipe it across my paper towel. And we're just going to pull down as if that water is kind of crashing, right? So we don't do it everywhere. It loses its effect when you do it in a lot of places. Okay, you could always do a little bit of spray. But again, we're not doing detailed, Sandy. We are doing a very loose seascape. Okay, so just like with the clouds, when you put that white on the sand, it's going to sink in because the colors were wet. Remember that, what was it? Oyster beige and asphaltum and everything was wet. So this is going to give you that brighter, whiter right here. And just have it trail. And then I lived in California and spent many days on the beach in 1960. I don't remember any of it though. As I was in utero, too funny. Okay, so a little bit of asphaltum. I do want to come in, I think, with my angle brush like I did on the sand, and I'm just going to kind of shore up a little bit better those. Okay. All right. I want to come back because I want to put a little bit of pink back in my sand. Because it's that wet water is reflecting the colors from our sky. All right. The other thing is you can come in from the edge. Darker. All right, let's move on. Let's go to our little scallop shell here, and I'm going to hopefully be able to see my line drawing. If not, I'll just improvise because I drew it out. Just want a little separation from the background. So Payne's gray. Okay. And then we will come in with our little line. So I'm just sliding on the chisel edge and then swiping it down. Oh, I want to go to Belize. I do. Love a good walk on the beach, right? So again, my husband's not really a beach person. He goes for me, so I bought him some really nice little like half tents. And he'll sit there and read his book and have a grand old time while I am sitting down by the water or walking on the beach. But 2 years ago, I had surgery for melanoma. And right now I've got 3 other places that are being checked. So I'm a little leery of the beach because I was such a sun baby growing up. But I hope that can go away because, again, it's my happy place. I love it. Alrighty. Let's go to, I'm thinking, maybe a wash. I don't want to cover up too much, but I do want the shape of this shell. This is Oyster Beige. We'll see how this looks. Again, I don't want it too opaque, so I have water in my brush. So this is basically what I do with my membership group. Now, I will say, in the beginning, I did wing it. And I wasn't sure exactly what I was painting or what colors I was using until I got on with them live. Now, it's a little bit more structured where I give a line drawing and share what we're painting so that they can be a little prepared. However, the majority of the time it's watch, look, and come back and paint. So I just picked up a little bit more blue. I tend to jump around, especially when I'm doing seascapes, to pick up things that maybe I missed before. I'm also letting this dry. And then I'm gonna pick up some buttermilk because the scalps have a little bit of a tan tint to it. So we've got our raw sienna there, oyster beige, some of the buttermilk, and I'm just going to do a little bit brighter there, and then pull it down with your finger. Okay, so oyster beige and buttermilk. And then just pull it down with your finger. Oops. Put my brush the wrong way and wiped off too much. So we'll do that. Then we've got this little nugget there. And then I'm going to add to that oyster beige, buttermilk, and a little bit of titanium white. And we're going to go right along that little thing there. We got a little flip here. All right. Drinks with umbrellas. Oh, you're welcome, Teresa. Yes, girls trip to Belize would be awesome, right? Okay. Now, when it comes to the pearl, we'll get to that in a second, but I want to put in a little bit of blue, and I'm trying to think what blue. I'm almost thinking like a metallic. But I don't want it just to be that, so I'm going to take my number 8 flat, and I'll pick up a little bit of the turquoise blue. And just kind of shimmy that up. You can go right over that pearl and everything. Just kind of shimmy that color up. Use your finger. Then maybe the metallic. Oh yeah. And that is Dazzling Metallics Teal. Oh. First off, if you don't use the Dazzling Metallics, they are amazing. The extreme sheens are beautiful as well. I'll just give you a really pretty metallic-y look. Thank you, Norma. Alrighty. All right, so I'm going to take the 3/8 angle, and we're going to come into the asphaltum. And I want to regain a little bit of that shell shape. Very, 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 very light. Remember I shared either last night or the night before, when you pick up on the toe of that brush and you work it in, it's darkest there, it's lighter as you move away. So if you know that you don't want it that dark, go ahead and slide over either to the left or right, depending on what hand you are, lefty or righty. I picked up a little bit of raw sienna on that dirty brush, and we are going to get in a little bit of that shadow right here. Or that part of the shell, you know, where they connect. You get a little bit of that look. And then I learned this in a Dorothy Dent class, and it's just one that's always stuck with me, to do kind of like a tornado. So you put the color, let me get a little bit more so I can show you. Again, I have raw sienna and asphaltum on the toe of my angle brush. And on those, I used to do it in the valleys, this part, but if you do it on the peak and bring it down, I'm getting all these little gnats because my studio lights are on, you can, and they're just little upside down U strokes, but think of like a tornado, how it would spiral. Okay. Oh, and instead of my finger, I could use my soft flat top mop. That's the shading I'm going for. Nothing wimpy. I remember in 2013, I went to a workshop in Tennessee because my sister lives there. So I got to, it was kind of a double whammy. I got to go see my sister and go paint with Nancy Medina. And I remember her saying, don't be a wimpy shader. Make it count. So make those floats count. Alrighty, now I'm going to go back to a flat. Let's see, a small flat. All right, this one. And back to the oyster beige and buttermilk. Swipe it across your paper towel. And in between those, I'm going to dry brush and pull it down. I got blue in there, which is great. White metallic luster, white frost metallic luster. I do not have it right here, right now, or I would use it, because that's going to give you that mother of pearl look. Alrighty. But let's go ahead and get a little bit of asphaltum. And we'll do just a little detail again on there. And then a pearl, We want to make our pearl. I think my pearl was a little too big, so I think I'll go with this one. And I'm going to first do it with my stencil brush, a little Payne's, wait, what do I want to do it with? I'm going to do it with a little bit of white, just titanium white, and then I'll come in and add the color. All right, let's see. Okay, so Tracy Morrow and I have a stencil line called M Square. This is M265, I think A, which is the circles, we have squares, and we have variety. And I obviously am not stenciling the whole thing. There we go. To give you a really nice pearl. And then I'm just going to take the rest of that white paint and kind of zigzag it. Maybe pull back a little. You know how you have those lines that go back on a seascape because the water is receding. Excuse me. All right. Now let me come in with that flat. I'm going to pick up a little bit. I wish I had looked to see how I painted the pearl on the girl with the pearl earring, but I didn't. So we're going to wing it. So a convention, Mona, anyone can join a convention. Anyone can go to a convention, regardless of your skill level, whatever. Some classes will say, what is the skill level? Mine, I try to teach them where anybody can paint it, regardless if you've painted or not. All right, I'm going to take that number 4 flat again and wipe off a lot of the moisture. Pick up some white, swipe it across my paper towel, and where we put that oyster beige on, I want to put a little bit of titanium white. So my brush is pretty much dry. It's not 100% dry. Otherwise, I'd be using my Mezzaluna. But I want these just to stand up a little bit more. And again, don't hesitate to use your finger to smooth it out. All right. And then for that little pearl, there we go. I'm going to rinse that. Mona, anyone is welcome to attend. Oh, thank you, Ronnie, for putting that. Appreciate it. All right, so same brush, little, like kiss the puddle of paint with the tippy tips of your bristles. Payne's Gray and Asphaltum. And we want to put a little bit of a shadow for our pearl right there. All right. And then let's dry everything. We're going to finish the pearl, highlight a couple things, and be done. Gotta head to bed for early work day. No worries, Donna. Nighty night. I do wish I kind of switched that a little bit that way, but I didn't, so. All right, let's go back to our angle brush. We are going to pick up a little bit of strawberry on the toe and a little bit of primary blue on the toe, which is going to make a really pretty purple. Swipe it across our paper towel, and we're going to come here, and inside that white circle, we want to do like a little U right here, and a little upside down U. And we will dry it. That's good enough. We're going to come into a little bit of more just strawberry this time. Put that around the pearl. And let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see that. All right. We are going to outline the pearl as well. I'm going to pick up a little white and a little raw sienna and just go over. I don't want this to be real white. You know, they're white, but they're not like bright white. So that was raw sienna and a little bit of asphaltum. But you can still see those lines, right, in between. And then our shadow, and then our edge. Alrighty. And then finally, I'm going to pick up a little bit of the primary blue. And I think I'll pick up a little touch of the metallic. I've not done this on a bubble, but I think it would be pretty. Just a little bit there and there. Ooh, finger had water on it. Okay, let's dry this. We're gonna go to our Posca pen for a couple little highlights. After, I want to do a little bit more shading. I think I got a little wimpy on the shading. So asphaltum and Payne's Gray, swipe it across my paper towel. This will be my 3 times a underneath that, underneath the pearl, asphaltum, and a touch of Payne's Gray. I don't want to make all these real obvious. Just the hint of, the look of. And then maybe a little bit more right there to make that transition. Okay, now onto our pearl. We're just going to do a little white, dot, 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 press, 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 and press it to get a little bit of that glow. Okay, and we'll dry it. And then I'm going to come back with just a touch of asphaltum. And right up underneath that purple, I want to put a little touch there for it to stand out. And then the white is always going to soak in. So again, if you want a little bit brighter, come in. I wouldn't do it everywhere, again, or the same length every time you pull down, because then it's cookie cutter, right? So I'm going to leave that bright right there on that pearl. Okay, so same thing when it comes to the waves. If you want a little bit more white, it's a lot easier to do that with your pen. The brightness that you want on those waves. Okay, so just mimic the look and tap it with your finger. This is acrylic paint, so it's going to act and react like acrylic paint. Okay. This one. do those little lines that go back from the water. Alrighty, same thing on your clouds. You could come in and just do that very, very tip right there. Okay, now do you see this area right here? If you make this wider and brighter with paint or your pen, now your cloud just became very dimensional. I'm going to do it with paint because I want that heavy paint to stick. So you've got that whiter area, the gray-blue area, and then this, which is there we go. Okay, so I think I'm going to do the same thing here. Make this brighter. That brighter. Again, kind of tap in some small little clouds. And what that does, if I didn't have those, your eyes would kind of go there and then there and there. The little tiny clouds that you see back here, draw your eye into that horizon. Alrighty, I think that's it. Let me zoom out. Took a little bit longer than I thought, but I like it. Now what I don't like is that very pink line right there. So I don't like lines. So we're going to just come in and break it up. A little bit of a cloud right there. Okay, soft circular motions. There we go. Now we don't have a big old pink line there. All right, guys, so that is our little seascape. Let me get a little bit of white. I want a little bit more white. On those little waves. Again, you have to have a shadow underneath it or some coloring underneath it to make that happen. But thank you guys so much for being here tonight. I will be back tomorrow night, which is what, Friday? Whew, where's the week gone? I will be back tomorrow night, same time at 8, not 9 o'clock. Tonight was 9 because I had a lesson with my membership group. If you guys have any questions at all about my membership group, please do not hesitate to email me. When you think about the cost of what you get when you join my group, I know 300 plus recorded lessons is overwhelming. But think of each of those classes, even if it was just $10 a class, right? What I'm doing with you guys this week is exactly what I do with my membership group. However, majority of those designs aren't anywhere else. It's just for them. If you teach classes, if you go to craft shows and paint and sell your wares, you are able to use any of my designs to teach or to recreate and sell, because that certainly is how I started out, and I am happy for my members to take what they've learned, create, and then go make a little bit of money, right? So, thank you, Chris. Okay, guys. Whew, thanks, Mom. You make it look so easy. It really is that easy, I promise. Got a lot of green right there. A lot of green. So those things that you'll start to see, and then you adjust and figure out what color you need to put to diffuse it, right? So, alrighty, guys. There's our seascape. and our scallop and pearl. That kind of came a little bit longer than I thought. Anyway, appreciate you guys. Not only do we have all those projects, we have techniques, drawings, guest artists, so much more, and great friends. Right? That probably, like I said, the family, the community, the being there for each other. I get to be a little bit, I'm myself. You're not going to see anything fake here. I am me. I have shared a lot with you guys, but I share even more with my membership group because it's just a great way to connect and create and, just have this little family like Chris said. So anyway, if you want more information, you can go to my website right there, and you'll see something on the left-hand side of the page that has my membership information. Aw, thanks, Janet, right? And you can sign up yearly, monthly. You could change it anytime. If you're like, oh my gosh, this is awesome, I want to stay. You can change from monthly to yearly, like I've had several members do. And have access to lots of content. In addition to that, don't forget to like, comment, and share for Happy Mail giveaways. And in my membership group, every single month I do Happy Mail giveaways, 3 for just being a member. And so it's brushes and stencils and just fun things that I'm able to get at these shows that I go to. And then also we do challenges, not every month. This month our challenge is silhouettes, which I love, and everyone that's been posting so far, amazing work. So, all right, I will be back tomorrow night, Friday night, 8 o'clock. Hope you guys will join me. I will post something in the morning. Not exactly sure what I'm going to do. So, in the comments on YouTube and on my Facebook page, leave me some prompts. What would you like to see me paint? I do have Poppy in mind because my sweet friend in Canada, Denise, said Poppy the first day. So maybe that, but let me know. Give me a prompt. That's what my membership group is doing this year, prompts. Our prompt was, where is it at? Succulents. I don't even know where it went. But I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. I'm going to leave you with our little seascape and just think that you're on a beach in the Bahamas somewhere. I'll probably tweak it a little bit, and then I will share a picture on my Facebook page. All right? Thank you, guys. I'm signing up tomorrow. Oh, Sherry Ann, that'd be awesome. I was literally just looking at Poppy paintings in my living room. Oh, wonderful. So maybe Poppy's tomorrow. We'll see. All right, guys, have a great night. I'm going to leave you with a little inspo. Get those brushes out. Get that paint out. And if you're not feeling it, just gesso or